Good evening, this is Dalsan TV English News. My name is Abdelrazak Ali. We have a lot lined up for you, but first let's have a look at some of the stories that are making headline here in Somalia. Somalia's Navy mobilizes to defend territorial waters amidst Ethiopia-Somaliland port agreement. SODMA distributes relief supplies to displaced families in Jazeera area, Lower Shabelle region. Puntland Parliament Speaker appoints Presidential Election Committee. And Somali police officers complete training on community policing and crime prevention in Mogadishu. Welcome back to this edition of Dalsan TV English News. Somalia's new Navy forces have been urged to prepare for action as tensions rise in response to an agreement between Ethiopia and Somaliland. Major General Ibrahim Sheikh Muhyiddin, the chief of the Somali National Defense Forces, delivered a rallying call to the Navy forces.
Somalia's Navy forces have been urged to prepare for action. Major General Ibrahim Sheikh Muhyiddin, the chief of the Somali Defense Force, delivered a rallying call to members of the Navy during his visit on Thursday. This call to action comes in response to an agreement between Ethiopia and Somaliland, which grants Ethiopia exclusive access to a major port in Somaliland. Somalia, considering Somaliland as part of its territory, has vehemently opposed the agreement and vowed to defend its land using any necessary means. General Ibrahim Sheikh Muhyiddin, commander of the Somali Armed Forces, expressed his determination to protect Somalia's territorial waters. During his visit to the armed forces, he emphasized the need for preparedness against both internal and external threats. The Somali Navy was instructed to fulfill their duty immediately and ensure the protection of the Somali Sea. The government has also recently trained new marine forces from the Eritrean government, strengthening their naval capabilities. The recent agreement signed between Ethiopia and Somaliland, granting Ethiopia access to a major port, has sparked concern about the stability of the Horn of Africa region. The pact, signed in Addis Ababa, has drawn criticism from Somalia, which considers Somaliland an integral part of its territory. Hundreds of people in Mogadishu protested against the agreement, denouncing Ethiopia's access to the Red Sea, a vital strategic waterway. While Addis Ababa defended the agreement by citing similar deals made by other countries with Somaliland in the past, the Arab League, Egypt, and the European Union have expressed support for Somalia's stance, calling for respect for Somalia's sovereignty. In response to Ethiopia's perceived aggression, Somalia has vowed to defend its territory through legal means. The government has called for urgent meetings of the UN Security Council and the African Union to address Ethiopia's actions. Mogadishu seeks international support to counter the agreement, which it considers a threat to its sovereignty. The Somali government insists on the significance of respecting Somalia's territorial integrity and seeks the backing of global organizations to address the situation.
Now, elsewhere, the Somali National Disaster Management Agency, that is SODMA, provided a relief assistance to 1,000 displaced families, including children, in Lower Shabelle region. SODMA's Director of Relief, along with local officials, oversaw the distribution of the aid, which aims to alleviate the hardships faced by vulnerable populations affected by displacement. The Somali National Disaster Management Agency has provided relief assistance to 1,000 displaced families, including children in Jazeera area of Lower Shabelle region. SODMA's Director of Relief, the District Commissioner of Afgoye, Relief Coordinator of Lower Shabelle, and the local administration of Jazeera presided over the distribution of the relief aid to the vulnerable population. The families who benefited from the distribution exercise expressed their gratitude to the agency and the Southwest Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs Disaster Management for their timely assistance, saying that it will go a long way in alleviating in their suffering. The agency has in recent months been involved in efforts aimed at mitigating the effects of natural calamities, including the El Nino-induced floods that have displaced over 2 million people and devastated homes and disrupted livelihoods across the country. Now in Puntland, the Speaker of Puntland Parliament has elected a committee of presidential election responsible for organizing the upcoming presidential election. The 7-member committee primary task is to develop a comprehensive plan and schedule for the election as the deadline for the election approaches. The newly elected Speaker of the Puntland Regional Assembly, Abdelrazak Ahmed Saeed, has appointed the election committee responsible for the election of the upcoming presidential election. An official communication from the Office of the Speaker outlined the appointment of 7-member committee, the modalities and schedule of the elections as deadline continued tick closer. The former chairman of Regional Election Parliamentary Committee, Abdiwali Yusuf Forsame, was named as the chairperson of the committee. Members of the committee include Ahmed Abdirahman, Ja'far Mohammed, Hassan Yusuf, Abdelrazak Omar, Mohammed Dakol, and Mukhtar Abdirahman. The semi-autonomous region's parliament is scheduled to choose state's next leader to January 8th, after the lapse of the tenure of the incumbent leader Saeed Abdullahi Deni, who formally declared his candidacy for the top seat for a second term. Previous attempts by President Deni to introduce a one-man, one-vote sparked clashes between pro-government forces and troops loyal to opposition candidates in the capital Garowe. However, Deni later backed down on his stance for universal suffrage election and said that the next president would be picked in accordance with the existing system, where the state's 66 lawmakers elect the president. Now, the Somali police force in Mogadishu completed a week-long training program on countering violent extremists and providing community policing and crime prevention. The training, organized by the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia, ATMIS, police component, aimed to enhance the capabilities of Somali police officers in maintaining security and fostering positive relationships with local community. African Union Transition Mission in Somalia, ATMIS personnel on Tuesday concluded a week-long training for Somali Police Force SPF officers in the capital Mogadishu on countering violent extremism in communities in the capital Mogadishu. The training, organized by ATMIS police component, aimed to enhance Somali police force capabilities in community policing and crime prevention. General Osman Abdullahi Mohammed, Somali Police Force Deputy Commissioner, thanked the AU Peace Mission for their efforts to uplifting the capacity of the police force in handling criminal matters. The officers who benefited from the training expressed gratitude to ATMIS personnel for their cause, saying it would help them surmount crimes, handle community issues in a professional manner, and foster efficiency in the service. This is not the first time that the mission has undertaken such a program to enhance the capabilities and knowledge of the Somali police force. ATMIS has recently been involved in workshops and training for Somali police officials across in a bid to foster their skills and knowledge in crime prevention as they prepare to take over security responsibilities from the outgoing peace troops. Now that story of ATMIS brings us to the end of this bulletin. My name is Abdelrazak Ali. We wish you a lovely evening.